You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and that charm, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag
For what?
with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club,
Why?
buy some bottles, impress them girls.
what?
It's more than life.
Oh, fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And who dat? And I'm Ethan. And it looks like we got a fresh cut, and we haven't had to clean up the mullet because other than the Saints news and some of the appetizers, I know that's what a lot of y'all are here for. You're here for this nasty mullet. I know you're here for it, so I had to get that a little cleaned up. But the first thing I want to get to is I want to shout out some of my subscribers because we got to a landmark. We got to a little bit of a landmark. I know it's not a big one. What we got to the big 3-0, and I know that's a big landmark in some young people's lives. The big 3-0, the 30 landmark. I got 30 subscribers now. I know, whoa, look out, it's not that big, but I appreciate all the people out there that got me to 30 subscribers. I think I hit that maybe just last weekend. So I appreciate all the people out there that got me to 30 subscribers, everyone that contributed. You know, I say it pretty much every time. You know, it's not really my thing to ask for subscribers and likes and shares and stuff, but you know, if you do like my channel or you comment or you subscribe or you share, you know, I really appreciate it. And I think if you have like a username and you subscribe to my channel and you pop up in my notification box, I'll shout you out. So much love, you know, I appreciate it. So hey, we're pushing to 40, we're pushing to 50, and hey, hopefully we can get to 100, and hopefully we can get to 1,000 next, and maybe we can start making a little bit of money on here because I don't really know how this whole monetizing thing works really, but I've opened a couple of my videos and I've started to see a couple commercials on some of my videos, so I'm getting close. I'm getting a little closer. So I appreciate everybody that got me to 30 subscribers. But anyways, let's get into this right now. So can I get a menu? And the first thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know, this isn't really that exciting stuff, not stuff people really want to talk about, I guess, but it's news. There hasn't really been much going on this week, and this season in general hasn't been exciting. But this is just something to talk about because I don't have that much to talk about on this podcast in general, other than like injuries and the Steelers game breakdown. So I'll just mention this. This is once again, this is something that's popped up pretty much all year. This is the Alvin Kamara court case and stuff. So it looks like with the court case, none of the defendants were in the court. I guess that was on Wednesday. The judge continued to negotiate hearing 60 days. In 60 days, the next court hearing is January 23rd, 2023. So it's like next year, the start of next year. The judges also set a trial date of March 1st, 2023. So they just keep pushing it back. So obviously, and unless they do a plea deal, plea bargain or something. Shouldn't expect there to be a suspension this year, which that's uh, the start of right after it happened, after the Pro Bowl and the start of the season, during the off season, during training camp. We just knew that he probably wasn't going to get suspended. But the main thing I wanted to mention, if some people haven't seen it yet, there actually is a video of it out, and that was my main thing that people were like talking about, like, oh, is there like evidence or I had seen like people talking about like a video, like where is the video? Is there a video? Well, I guess there is now. You can go on YouTube and you can search it up. There actually is. Oh, our either World Star or TMZ. Well, there actually is a shoddy looking TMZ video. It's that grayish green colored. I'm surprised nowadays that with all the technology, the high definition 4K definition videos, home home security camera videos that uh, Las Vegas casino wouldn't have better security cameras than the one that caught supposedly Alvin Kamara on camera doing the assault, but it just is some guy in the video. You just see the back of a guy with dreadlocks initiating this assault, and you see maybe like one or two punches thrown by him before his entire crew does the rest of the damage and starts kicking and stomping on this person. But you never see the person's face. You never see supposedly Alvin Kamara's face. So will that actually hold up as evidence in the case? I don't know. It's not a very good video. So I encourage you to go look for that for yourself, because I don't know. It's a pretty shoddy video in my opinion. It's not the greatest quality. You never see Alvin Kamara's face. So you could just say anybody with long black dreadlocks. You could say, oh, well, that's Alvin Kamara. You could say, heck, if I had long black dreadlocks, you could say that's me. So I don't know how well that's going to hold up in court, honestly. So that's the news for that. So I don't have the injury report yet for Thursday, but they had just an estimated injury report for Wednesday. So I guess they didn't actually practice on Wednesday. The Pittsburgh Steelers did, but New Orleans didn't, I guess because they played on Monday. So this is technically a short week for them, even though they do play on Sunday. But we'll look at it here. And so there's a lot more new players that were added to this injury report, because so many players got hurt in that horrible game against Baltimore. So I'll just go through this and see what we got here. So maybe we dodged a bullet here with Marcus Davenport, because Marcus Davenport, and this is just an estimate. So Marcus Davenport, calf limited. Mark Ingram, knee, did not practice. Jarvis Landry, ankle limited. Marshawn Lattimore, abdomen, did not practice. Eric McCoy, calf, did not practice. Andres Pete, tricep, did not practice. So that was something that he didn't. We never saw him go down in that game, but now he's dealing with a tricep injury, so that's not good. Ryan Ramczyk, it's just rest and knee limited. That's something that's just been on there all year. And then Pete Warner, ankle, did not practice. So that's pretty ugly. That's not good. Two of your starting offensive linemen are going to be out. Eric McCoy, Andres Pete. So yeah, that's not good. But maybe if that happens, maybe if that plays out like that, maybe you'll at least possibly dodge a bullet in Marcus Davenport being limited, and maybe he'll come back, and maybe you'll get Jarvis Landry back, hopefully. But with the way the Saints' luck has been, and the way the Saints season is gone. You'll probably neither one of those players will come back. But anyways, go over the Pittsburgh Steelers practice, and they did practice on Wednesday. So Chris Boswell, who's a kicker, right groin did not practice. And I've always seen like groin injuries, and I've never seen them categorized as right and left. I obviously know that you have a right and left groin, but I've actually never seen it specified on a right injury. When I first saw that, I kind of thought that was kind of funny or kind of odd. Anyways, William Jackson, corner, back did not practice. Ahkello Witherspoon, corner, hamstring, did not practice. Levi Wallace, corner, shoulder, full practice. Christian Kuntz, long snapper, ribs, full practice. Miles Jack, inside linebacker, knee, did not practice. And Larry Ogunjobi, defensive tackle, knee, did not practice. So they have, I don't know if that's just because that was their first practice and some of that's more rest, or if all those guys didn't practice because they're actually seriously hurt. But that's quite a few players that didn't practice, and those are all really good players. Chris Boswell, William Jackson, Ahkello Witherspoon, Miles Jack, Larry Ogunjobi, like those are all starters for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and all those guys are four of the five players are defensive players. And now obviously Chris Boswell, that's your starting kicker. If all of those guys actually don't play, that would be big. But obviously it's just Wednesday, so I wouldn't be surprised by Thursday, just on today, if all those guys are limited, and then by Friday they're all full. We know how it works when playing the Saints. The Saints is definitely a get right game for everybody. And then I don't even see TJ Watt on here, so he could be activated from IR and play, and because he's not even hurt at all anymore, he may be fully healthy, so he could be activated on game day and play. Okay, kind of look over some stats from the Pittsburgh Steelers of who are kind of their game leaders, some of their best players, to maybe kind of look kind of spotlight for the game for them. So Kenny Pickett is currently the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They started the season with Mitch Trubisky, but they quickly, after 5 games in, they went to Kenny Pickett. And well, I know a lot of people are screaming that the Saints should have drafted a quarterback in this draft, and that would have solved their problem, and they wouldn't be having to deal with Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback. They should have drafted a franchise quarterback. They shouldn't have drafted Chris Olave, or they shouldn't have drafted Trevor Penning. But what quarterback would they have drafted? What good quarterbacks were in this draft to draft? There weren't any. Like Kenny Pickett was like really the only first round talent in this draft. I don't know if anyone saw what's his name? Forget the quarterback for the rookie quarterback for the Tennessee Titans that played against Kansas City Chiefs last Sunday night. He looked awful, I think that was on Sunday night. He looked terrible. But Kenny Pickett, his stats aren't too amazing either. He's for his completions, he's 112 for 165 for 962 yards. That's an average of 5.8 yards an attempt, and he's only averaging 192.4 yards a game. His longest pass is 30 yards. He has 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he's been sacked 12 times. Let's see. He has a quarterback rating of 66.8. So that's not anything to be too exciting for the highest grading quarterback in this draft from the previous draft, the 2022 draft. I think that quarterback from that was drafted by the Titans, Willis, I think. Can't remember what his first name was. And then the rushing, I'm surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers rushing, their rushing leader isn't better than what he is. Najee Harris. He's played in 8 games, but his stats that he's compiled is not impressive at all. He has 108 attempts for only 361 yards for a 3.3 yard average and a long of 18 and only 1 touchdown. That's not very impressive at all. And then their other running back, Jaylen Warren, has 29 attempts for 153 yards, 5.3 yards an attempt, and 19 long, no touchdowns. So it doesn't seem like they're producing much on the ground either. So just offensively, doesn't look like the Steelers are definitely not a juggernaut. And wide receivers for the Steelers, Deontay Johnson has 43 reception off of 76 targets for 372 yards, 0 touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth has 32 receptions off of 48 targets for 367 yards, 1 touchdown. George Pickens has 26 receptions off of 43 targets and 1 touchdown. And then Chase Claypool got traded. He's not even on their team anymore. So I think, he got traded to the Chicago Bears. And then, that's just not very impressive at all. So I would hope the Saints defense can have a bounce back game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're basically like the polar opposite of the Baltimore Ravens. They're more in the, if you take away Devontae Adams, they're more in the mold of the Oakland Raiders. So hopefully we can do what we did to the Oakland Raiders. We can do that to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would hope. But they have some big names on the defensive side of the ball. So that's really what scares me here. But I saw their leading tackler, Myles Jack, he was on their injury report that I just read off. So Myles Jack, he has 17 total tackles, 43 solo, 29 assisted, only 2 tackles for loss, no sacks, 2 pass deflections, and then their second leader in total tackles is Mika Fitzpatrick, who's a great safety, an All-Pro, Pro Bowl safety. He has 45 total tackles, 28 solo, 17 assists. He's got 6 pass deflections, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. He's really, really good. And the thing that worries me the most, the player on here that worries me the most is Alex Alex Highsmith, who's having a Pro Bowl season. He has 31 total tackles, 19 solo, 12 assists, but it's the 6.5 sacks that really concerns me. Seven total, 7 tackles for loss, uh, 1 pass deflection, 2 forced fumbles. Like that's the player on that list that really concerns me, just because of how much trouble the Saints offensive line had blocking the Baltimore Ravens and how many sacks they gave up, in addition to the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers are supposed to get back TJ Watt next week or on Sunday. That's what concerns me the most about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, because they got names. They got names on their defense. They got big time names. They also have Devin Bush. They got Terrell Edmonds, Casey Hayward, Akilo Witherspoon. That they have big time names. They just got superstars all over the board on their defense, all over the depth chart. Larry Ogunjobi, like they're a star-studded defense. So their defense really scares me that they may end up doing the exact same thing that the Baltimore Ravens did to the Saints on Monday. So on to hot takes. So TJ Watt's coming back, and that really concerns me. I don't know how in game shape he's going to be after missing almost all the season. He only played in like 1 game all year, just the first game of the season. But I'm afraid that he's going to have like a Justin Houston type game that would just be on par with how the Saints season has been. He comes back, and in his first game, he's gonna have like a multi-sack game. So that's gonna be one of my hot takes. That TJ Watt comes back and he's gonna have 2 sacks. I want to say 2.5, just like Justin Houston had. Justin Houston had what, 2.5 and an interception. But I think I'm going to be conservative and just say that maybe the Saints offensive line plays a little bit better, maybe, and TJ Watt is going to have 2 sacks in this game. And then because this is one that more I just want to happen, because there's been whispers that Kenneth Walker Jr. is starting to get more votes and more press about possibly being the offensive rookie of the year, and he's about to steal that away from Chris Olave, and I really don't want that to happen. Out of all of the things that are going on with the season, it would be really nice if the Saints could win something this year. It would be really nice if Chris Olave could at least win offensive rookie of the year, if nothing else. So it would be really nice if Chris Olave could catch a touchdown in this game. It would be really nice if Chris Olave could at least get a touchdown in this game, because Kenneth Walker is having a really good season since he had that big game against us. That's really what started it all off. When he had that huge run against us and had that touchdown, that's really when Kenneth Walker started going off in Seattle. He had that huge run. I can't remember. It was like a 60-yard run and a touchdown. Ever since that he had that breakout game, he's had I think he has like 570 yards rushing and like 7 touchdowns since then. And really, that's not far off from what Chris Olave has total. I think Chris Olave only has like 610 receiving yards, but only has 2 touchdowns. So it wouldn't be far-fetched for Kenneth Walker to steal the offensive rookie of the year award away from Chris Olave, because people care more about touchdowns than they do yards. So it would be really nice if Chris Olave could get a touchdown more than just yards. So he needs a touchdown. So I'm going to go with Chris Olave getting a touchdown, and TJ Watt getting 2 sacks. And then for my score, I just don't feel good about the Saints at all after what they did in the game against Baltimore. I feel like they're just not motivated, and maybe the team has lost. Dennis Allen has lost the team a little bit, or they've lost motivation, or if things don't go well early on in the game, that they lost their heart and they've lost their fire. So I just don't have very much confidence in the team, or maybe they don't have that fight for Andy Dalton anymore. They've lost faith in Andy Dalton. So I think and like I said, I almost feel as if the Steelers defense is gonna do almost exactly what the Ravens defense did to the Saints offense. They're gonna try to stop the run first. They're gonna try to stop the run first, and then they're gonna come with that pass rush, and they're gonna put Andy Dalton down. So I think I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this one. I'm gonna go with the Steelers to win 24-20. So I think that's all I have for you. So who dat? Can I get a check, please?